Hello everybody, the Lawn Gnome is here to review a movie that was directed by my birthday buddy. That's right, David Fincher and I, same birthday. What?
You share a birthday with someone else too.
No.
Yes you do. Honey Boo Boo.
Shut up!
Yeah, Hollywood, you know I love you more than what I should. Yeah, Hollywood, well kiss me good. Yeah, Hollywood, you know I love you more than what.
So of course I'm here to review Gone Girl, the movie that everybody is talking about. And the crazy thing is about this movie is I had no idea that it was coming out, nor did I even know that this book by Gillian Flynn even existed. Now, have I read the book? No. Do I intend to read the book? I'm not sure, and maybe that's just because of the fact that I have to say that Gone Girl is probably, thus far, the best movie that I have seen in 2014. I sat down in that theater 2 seconds into the movie when the credits are rolling. I was in. Like, I just was glued to the screen. I was just already enthralled with what I was watching. And we're talking about a movie that is not including things like big explosions, doesn't include anything like crazy gunfights or people really going at each other. This is a murder mystery, conspiracy, media frenzy, something that you have seen on the news for the past decade, with cases like Casey Anthony, or even further back, O.J. Simpson. This is a movie that depicts media wanting to cover a crazy story about suburban life gone wrong just so they can get juicy news to put on the 10 o'clock news or the front page of the newspaper. And it's David Fincher and Gillian Flynn's look at the people who are being watched, being judged, being followed 24/7, and how they just deal with everyday life. David Fincher, always a great director, although I have to say, I tried to watch Zodiac recently, just because I was planning on seeing Gone Girl, and I turned that movie off because I just found no love with this movie. I mean, if you love Zodiac, I know some of you have been suggesting it to me, especially when I was doing the Great Film Throwback Project. I tried, and I just didn't get it. Why do you like it so much? But anyway, enough of that. He has done great movies like Seven, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, The Social Network, and of course the ever cult classic popular one, Fight Club. And Gone Girl, to me, is now definitely in the top 3. While I still think that Social Network is #1, I would say that if I were to rank the 3 of them, I'd have to say that Gone Girl would be #2, just because of the whole story that revolves around Social Network. But Gone Girl is great. David Fincher just gave us one of his most beautiful pieces to date. Everything about it works. The lightings, the eye contact, the body language, the pace of the story, everything is just absolutely beautiful. The story, Gillian Flynn gave us something great, and David Fincher just got it, worked it, and turned it into movie perfection. The actors, say what you want about Ben Affleck, it's movies like Gone Girl and Argo a couple of years back that tell me, as a fan of his, someone who didn't like him at first but knew where he was good, this is one of his best movies, and this is a movie that proves that he could be a guy like Batman in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. He really turns on his acting charm. He's, again, putting that very subtle, very emotionless persona that he did very similarly in Argo, but he just works it well, and I absolutely appreciated everything that he did. Rosamund Pike, forget it. She's gonna be one of the most talked about come Oscar time. I mean, a lot of people say that this really was her big break, but I've always acknowledged her. I remember her being a Bond villain in The World Is Not Enough. I remember her putting on a great performance alongside Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, and Martin Freeman in The World's End. I knew she was a great actress, but Gone Girl really shows us what she is capable of. And then you've got the supporting cast. You've got Neil Patrick Harris. I know that the movie bug, she really didn't care much for Neil Patrick Harris, but a lot of other people that I've been following differ about Neil Patrick Harris, and I loved him in this role because, again, I think he's one of the most talented actors in Hollywood, especially since he is proud of being a gay man. The fact that he can play a straight man as well as he does, be it in a comedy or a dramatic role. But to me, Even though he doesn't really have much of a personality, but his part of the story is important, he just really engaged me, and I appreciated his role alongside the rest of the cast. But then you've got these two people who I've never heard of before. Carrie Coon, who plays Ben Affleck's character's sister, Margot, and Kim Dickens, who plays the detective that is taking a look at Ben Affleck's character's Nick's case. And they were great. I loved Margot, and I liked the fact that even though this is a very heavy movie, like The Social Network and Scenes in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, David Fincher just turns on a small spark of comedy somewhere in his movie, and it all just brings you back to remember it's just a movie. Don't be too depressed after you walk out of the theater. And probably the biggest surprise was Tyler Perry. I mean, this ain't Medea. This is Tyler Perry acting, and acting beautifully. And I'm hoping that even though he caters to just a small group of people in regards to his Medea movies, I feel that he really is a great actor now that I've finally seen him outside of these, unfortunately I hate to say stereotypical comedies that he writes, but I think he's got a great acting, and I really think that he should be in more dramatic movies. Kim Dickens played the straight arrow detective, who I really thought did a great job, even though she was always carrying a Dunkin' Donuts cup. I was like saying, there's your product placement right there. Let's move forward with the feel of the movie. Like I said, 2 seconds in, I was hooked. It's not a fast-paced movie. It's got some very fast-paced moments, but the whole movie, while it is very lengthy, you're not sitting there saying, oh, when is this movie going to be over? No, you just want to see what happens next. The slow pace makes it more interesting, engages you more, makes you more on the edge of your seat when you're seeing characters engaging with one another, and you're saying to myself, oh my god, is someone going to come behind them with a butcher's knife or something like that? But when you get to the end of that movie, you just seem fulfilled, but at the same time, you're saying, I want more, like, what happens next? Because you are kind of left on that little bit of a cliffhanger, even though you know about these two characters, Nick and Amy, and what they have done to each other throughout these couple of days in which Gone Girl takes place. The soundtrack moves it too. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, beautiful as always. Every time they make a soundtrack, I like to say it's the new 9 Inch Nails album, but The Social Network, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo are great soundtracks, but Gone Girl is very different. I really appreciate the Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross score here, because there are some moments in the soundtrack that are very nice and lighthearted and actually put you into a good mood. Not necessarily when it contrasts to some of the more darker points in the movie where those music turns grim and your hair is on edge, but it's very unique and it's very different from the last two soundtracks that they composed for David Fincher, and I really feel that this is going to be getting an Oscar buzz as well. I mean, I'm excited to buy the soundtrack. I really, really liked it, and I appreciated how much it worked and made the movie move along. There's so much more that I can say about this movie, but I think I covered pretty much all the bases. If you haven't seen Gone Girl, this is a movie that I must say you must march your ass over to the theater, pay whatever it is it's going to cost, and see it. This is a movie you cannot miss. Even though some people will say it may not be big screen worthy because it doesn't have anything that resembles a blockbuster, you will love this movie. If you're not a Ben Affleck fan, if you're not a David Fincher fan, it doesn't matter. It's the story that drives this movie. It's the characters that drive this movie. It's the music. It's the pace. Everything in this movie is perfection. And that is why I am giving Gone Girl 4 out of 4. Is this going to be the best movie of 2014? I am not sure, because as much as I loved Captain America the Winter Soldier, as much as I loved her, we still have movies like The Theory of Everything, Exodus Gods and Kings, The Imitation Game, Unbroken. So many great movies are still on the way, and I am really excited to see each and every single one of these, finally, 2014 Oscar-worthy movies. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'm the Lawn Gnome, and actions speak louder than words.